My name's Oliver Kenward. I think I know most of you in the room. For those I don't, I sit within our solutions team at Cisco, responsible for our partner community, and it's great to have you all here. Good turnout on another sunny day in Bedfont Lakes. Hopefully we'll show you today the evolution of our enterprise network messaging. We've released something called the digital network architecture, a fundamental change in some of the technology that we're delivering from Cisco. Enterprise networks is about half of our business, really profitable part of our business as well. Some of the messaging you'll see today, marks a really significant shift in some of the technology that we're delivering that's really important to how we make some of those changes with our customers as well. Today marks a really significant time of change for Cisco. We've been incredibly successful in delivering hardware products in the enterprise network space to the market since our inception. If we don't change, we're not going to continue to be as successful as we have been today. That goes for us as a vendor, and it goes for you as a partner as well. The things that got us to where we are today won't be the things that get us to the next level of our success as well. So I'm hoping you can absorb the messaging that we send over today, understand it, and test it out with your customers as well. You all have heard about the digitalisation trend, the latest industry buzzword for us. It's absolutely giving a fresh impetus to the IT market. And we're seeing enterprise networking, our data center, our collaboration, our security, our cloud portfolios truly help us take our technologies from an IT conversation to a boardroom conversation. This is another trend that we have to address as well. These are all UK customers that we work with who we're helping make the move to become a digital company. And every company needs to make that move. We think 40% of companies that we represent or we understand as incumbents in their marketplace today, customers and companies that you do business with, both on a personal and work level, won't exist in any meaningful way in the next 5 years. If we look at the Fortune 500, over half of the companies who were on that in the year 2000 don't exist at all today. And that's a direct result of digitalisation and an increasing pace of change for our customers. We absolutely have to help them make that shift to digitalisation. You'll hear about some of these examples and more during the day, but the time of going to talk technology to IT people is coming to an end. We all know that, we recognise that. We have to help deliver solutions to business people, to lines of business that help them tackle real concerns. If we look at Glasgow City Council, we were there last week. They're using their IT estate to help reduce energy consumption. They've taken over 10% off their overall energy bill, over $500,000 of savings a year just from their IT energy estate by using their switching and their routing estate to reduce energy consumption. Some of you may know Into better than others. Some of the work we do at the shopping centre over there around Wi-Fi. They're using what was previously seen as a cost centre in their wireless technologies as a revenue generator and an analytics and insight generator for them by understanding what people do in their venue, where are the most commonly walked paths, how do people dwell, how do they use their property. You'll hear about some of these other examples as we go through the presentation today. But these are all things we can help businesses do that aren't founded on a conversation about what our new box is, what the new speed is, what the new feature and functionality is within our products. So why are you here today? Because you're trusted Cisco partners, absolutely. We also know that you can help your customers be more successful than they are today. And those companies that embrace digitization and digital technologies will be at the forefront of their market for years to come. We see them being 26% more profitable than their competitors. We see their market valuation and their stock price being around 12% higher. And we see them driving nearly double-digit increases in revenue than their competition as well. We've got a lot of research around the effects of digitization. If you Google things like Cisco and leading digital, some of the work we do, the digital vortex, you'll get a lot of information around some of the benefits of digitization to our customers and our companies. But clearly, when we start to have these solution conversations, when we start to have these digitization conversations outside line of business, it becomes more profitable for you guys as partners as well. So the agenda for today, we've got a really engaging agenda. We've got a fantastic group of people who are going to be presenting. I'm going to do a very short introduction on what is the digital network architecture. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the component parts of that as well. So first up, we're going to have Nicoletta, who's going to come and join us and talk around enterprise network function virtualization and automation, two really key aspects of our DNA architecture. Rebecca will come on and talk a little about security. We see security as one of the blockers that's stopping our customers fully embrace everything digitization can do for them. We have to tackle that security question before they will make those investments. We'll talk about analytics. One of the really key trends in the industry at the moment. How do we use the network to generate more insights and analytics? We're going to be joined by our services team to talk about some of the operational best practices that we have. We've actually got some fantastic tools that you can use to understand where your customers are at the moment and how we can take them to the next step. Some of the key parts from a service perspective that we can do around that. I'm going to come back and join you for a quick summary and close, talk about some of the tools that are available to you, some of the promotions, some of the things that we'd like to do jointly with you as a follow-up for this session. We'd like it to be an interactive session. I know sometimes that can be a challenge in a mixed partner environment. So we asked you before you joined to take a quick poll to get an understanding of where you are with digital network architecture at the moment. So we asked if you're aware of the Cisco digital network architecture, and if you haven't done this already, please go to govote.at, and if you use that code up on the screen, you can submit your answer as well. So it seems like kind of 2/3 of you are aware of the Cisco digital network architecture. Thank you for coming. If you already know all about it, it's good to have you here. Hopefully we'll give you some more insight into that today. 1/3 of you have a level of understanding, so hopefully we'll be able to build on that for you today and cement some of that knowledge. And none of you have never heard of it at all, which is good. So I can tell our marketing team they've done a good job and everyone has heard of DNA at some regard. Digital network architecture. What is it and why are we doing it? So there are 4 founding principles of digital network architecture. Sometimes when we make things at Cisco and introduce things to the market, DNA is a fundamental change to what it is that we're doing at Cisco that represents what our customers want to see and some of the trends in the market. So this is absolutely critical. I can't stress how strong enough that making a move to DNA is going to be for everybody in this room and for our customers as well. Firstly is the foundation of virtualization. You guys have seen it in the data center. Virtualization has been a major market trend. You've probably seen it around things like storage as well. Networking has kind of been that last bastion that's held off from the effects of virtualization to any major effect until now. We have to give our customers the choice of how they're consuming some of our networking technologies, whether they want that to remain in a physical form factor or whether they want to start to deliver some of those functions in a virtual manner. And Nicoletta's going to talk around that a little bit later for us today. Now, that gives our customers choice in how they're consuming things. It gives them greater flexibility in how they're designing and deploying their networks and getting the outcomes that they want to. So virtualization in the network is a reality, and you'll start to see a lot more velocity around what we're doing in that space very, very soon. Again, as we've seen in the data center space, automation is coming to the access network in a big way. Hopefully you've all heard around what we're doing with the APIC Enterprise module. That's our SDN controller for the access layer. So being able to reduce a lot of the complexity from our routing, our switching, our wireless platforms, being able to automate some tasks that have previously been really complex for our customers. Things that have taken anything up to 80% of their time to do, we're reducing down to minutes. We're actually going to enable them to do things they've never been able to do before because it's been too difficult. Customers buy our kit because of all the features that it contains, all the things that it could possibly do for them as a company. Actually, how many of them turn on all those great features? Probably only a small percentage because it's really difficult for them to do and they've got their business to keep going, they've got their lights to keep on. So you'll see from automation, and we'll demonstrate a lot of this functionality for you, how we can help your customers reduce the time it takes to do complex tasks and how they can start to drive innovation through simplicity as well with automation. Analytics is another key aspect for us. Actually, the network can deliver a lot of insight back to our customers. It can help them understand what's happening on the network from not only who's connecting and what are they doing in the IT environment, but also in a physical environment. So we can start to drive a lot more analytics from the network around contextual information that provides real analytical information back to our customers that you can provide as a value add as well. And on top of that, the move to the cloud is not stopping anytime soon. We absolutely recognize that. I know you're all very, very familiar with what we're doing around Meraki. Meraki is a cloud-managed networking technology that we acquired a few years ago now. So the ability to go our customers' choice, not only around physical and virtual, but either cloud or on-premise, is really, really important for us. In our commercial space, all of these help drive 3 key things that we want you to have conversations with customers about. We want you to be able to talk to them about insights and experiences around automation and assurance and around security and compliance. All of the presenters today will cover those 3 points for you. It will give you some really interesting things to go and talk to customers about. The other key element of the architecture, and it hasn't always been the case from Cisco. I've been in the EN team or involved in EN for kind of 8 of the 9 years that I've been at Cisco. We've always been accused of quite a closed shop. If you wanted to invest in a Cisco architecture, you had that Cisco vendor lock-in. We're now making a far more open environment with our technologies. That's for third parties to be able to write to. That's for our customers to be able to write to. That's for us to be able to join different technologies together through APIs, industry standard APIs that you as partners can use with your customers. You can write your own applications for, and we can start to be a lot more flexible and innovative in terms of what we can deliver to our customers. So that's a major, major change for us. Far more open and programmable networks from Cisco. So we think actually the most boring thing a network does is provide connectivity. If we're going to our customers and talking about the connectivity that a network provides, we're absolutely putting ourselves in that product and price box that, with the customer, with the conversation that we don't want to be having that's going to be only driven one way, right? What we need to be talking about are the requirements that the customer has and the ability that the network has to provide them truly valuable information that they're not using at the moment today. If we look at insights and experiences, we've got a few examples around how we can do that. One example that my colleague gives is around the hotel industry. So if you imagine that you're owning a hotel, you're running a hotel chain, you've got a big budget for marketing, right? You want to attract people to your hotel and all the great facilities that you have. Actually, how much of that influence do you control when there's things like TripAdvisor out there on the market? If you're anything like me, I'll always do a quick review of where I'm going on holiday just to double check that I've made a good choice. A community of millions of people who are talking about the experiences that they have in a hotel. If we can go to a customer and say, we can help you improve the customer experience in your venue, we can help you personalize the experience that you deliver in your venue, that's going to be a real value add to customers. And that's the sort of thing that we can do with CMX. We can start to understand in real time customer sentiment and social sentiment. So as people are posting on their favorite social network, we can start to see whether they're positive sentiments or negative sentiments. We can start to see reviews of the hotel. We can start to offer opportunities to personalize those engagements if we see return visitors, for example. So we can start to provide analytics and insights and the ability for customers to be very proactive in terms of how they engage with their guests. When we look at reducing cost and complexity, we have to be able to automate things that take a long time today, that are today really difficult to do. We have to be able to provide assurance around some of that. You'll see some demonstrations around just how we do it. If we look at the very simple task of refreshing a switching network, we've got lots of customers today who are sweating their assets. They're keeping them for longer than their suggested life, perhaps their end of sale, their end of life already, because actually that change is really difficult to make. It's a disruption to the business. It's a costly thing to do, to go out and replace a switching estate. It represents a risk to the business. If we can automate that, if we can provide some level of assurance that's going to be an easier thing to do with less risk, we think we're going to drive a lot more opportunity for everybody in the room. And in fact, with one of our larger enterprise customers, we've helped them just do that across 50 sites by using one of the features from our APIC SDN controller that you'll see today that takes the purchase, the configuration, the staging, and the deployment of that switching asset down from days and months into being able to do that in minutes. So you'll see how we've automated that process today. Security is on the top of everyone's radar. Any CIO report you'll see, security is right at the top. People are absolutely terrified of security. That perimeter that we were always able to defend in the past fairly simply with traditional IT technologies is no longer there. Think about the amount of smartphones and cloud applications that people are using today. That element of being able to secure an organization, your assets, your people, your applications, your devices is long gone. We need to be able to provide more insights than ever we have before as to what's happening on the network and with your network assets. There is EU regulation coming out that makes this mandatory for people to have to do. They have to be able to have visibility of what's happening, and where they see there's been a leak of data, they have to be able to report that to the market or face substantial fines. These sorts of things will create opportunity for us. And you'll see today through one of the acquisitions we made with Landcope, and again, we're able to demonstrate that for you today, around some of the newer security technology that we can provide customers as well. That not only as a security technology are absolutely fantastic, but provide real differentiation in the market, because nobody can do that better than we can around embedding security into the networking technologies that we provide so successfully today. So there are our objectives for today. You'll see those three things. We want to enable you to go and have those conversations with your customers. We want you to be able to talk to customers around how we can help them innovate with an enterprise network, but how we can help them reduce cost and complexity, and how we can help them improve security as well. And our objective is to do that in a very interactive way with you. There's not a huge amount of PowerPoint. There's going to be a lot of demonstrations. The demonstrations that you see are all available to you guys as partners to use with your customers. We are running a separate technical session here on Thursday, so the technical folk that you work with, and I know one or two have snuck into the room today, will be able to deliver those demonstrations. You guys will be able to deliver those demonstrations. They're very, very simple, in a similar way to that we do with Meraki, right? Seeing is believing, the ability to deliver a very simple demonstration that shows some things that are incredibly powerful is something that's going to be really, really important for us.